Hi there, and welcome to the Homestead Education Podcast. Do you have a homestead, farm, or just dream of a rural life? This is a show to help you and your kids grow your own food and grow as a person. I'm your host, Kody Hanner. I'm a homesteader, homeschool mom of six, and small town enthusiast. I was raised by an old school rancher and blessed by the grace of God to have been exposed to so much of what rural life has to offer. Join me every week to talk about homesteading, homeschooling, and growth with a homestead education. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Homestead Education Podcast. So many of you know my husband's story and how natural food and non-toxic living helped save his life and was a huge factor in his recovery. But what we don't talk about is how exercise and physical fitness and mental health were a huge part of that as well. So today I invited Amanda Nigg from also known as Farm Fit Momma online on to chat about that a little bit. So thank you for coming.
I'm excited to be here. Yes, mental health is super huge and it's not talked about enough, especially in agriculture.
It is not. I'm sure we'll go into that. So do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself, like what you guys do with ag and what you do with your business?
Absolutely. So I'm a farmer's wife and I take great pride in that. I know some women don't like to identify as a farmer's wife. I don't know why, but I
Well,
married.
my husband is a farmer's husband, so you know.
There we go. See, there we go. I married into agriculture. So I grew up in Western Nebraska. My dad worked for the railroad as an engineer, and my mom actually worked for UPS. So in where our small town that I grew up in, it was so much agriculture or railroad. Like those were the two biggest industries. So I knew a lot about agriculture before I met my husband. And when I met my husband, it was, I don't know if he will agree with it, but for me, it was like love at first sight. Like I latched my wagon to his. I was like, "You're going
Oh,
nowhere."
buddy.
And I always joke too, is like I thought I knew a lot about agriculture until I was in it. Like there
Hmm.
was so much I didn't know. Like I knew like there were seasons, they had planting season and then harvest because just being in a small town, you know when they hit busy season because of the trucks and getting the crops out and stuff. But there's a lot more that goes behind it that I didn't realize. Like it's a full-on business. Like there's marketing, there's you're selling stuff on crops like we're the world's biggest gamblers. Like we really are when it comes to weather, crops, prices, everything. And so it was really eye-opening to marry my husband, who is a fifth generation farmer, by the way. I don't know if I said that. And we farm up here in South Dakota. So it's it's super cool to raise my boys in agriculture because it really opens my eyes to the possibilities of what they can accomplish. Just not like you and I were talking about this, like life skills, like
Hmm.
they learn so much more than they can just by sitting in a classroom. They learn how to communicate, like they learn to how to market themselves, dealing with seed dealers, even. They learn so much more just by being on a farm operation. So it's super cool to be able to raise our family on that.
Hey guys, I know that we are always looking for ways to connect our homeschool kids with our communities and find things to do when we're out and about. Plus, it is so important to be connecting with like-minded families and those that have the same interests that we do. That's why I'm so excited to announce the new app that just launched. Basecamp Ed is a community-based platform for parents to find like-minded families and dedicated teachers in their area. Whether you homeschool your children, are curious about it, or simply want to build a community of extracurricular activities, Basecamp Ed has you covered. Connect with local parents to create co-ops, form groups for your children's interests, and use the calendar to schedule events with ease. Teachers and coaches can also create profiles to list their credentials for parents to find a way to supplement subjects and activities. Homeschooling was never meant to be done alone. It takes a village. Build it with Basecamp Ed. Take advantage of this free resource and download it today. You can also follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Basecamp Ed app for the latest updates. And you can get the link to that in the show notes for this episode. That's awesome. I love seeing kids on these big farms and running them like a business, just like their families are. And I love South Dakota too. We always love driving through there because my son wants to be a crop farmer. I don't know why. He wasn't raised on a crop farm, but he's obsessed with crop farming. So
Tell them to come
we always,
visit. We'll take
Right?
him.
We always take our time. He's working on he does the mechanics for one of the neighbors, like, or helps my husband do one of the mechanics to keep their hay operation going. And they keep telling him, like, one of these days we'll let you drive the equipment. And he's like, I'm 16. When are they gonna let me drive it?
And see, my boys have been driving since they were like 2.
Right? I mean, he drives our
Yeah,
tractor and stuff, but he wants to drive their big stuff,
yeah, the combine. That's where every kid wants to work up to is that combine.
right?
Something about it.
Um, so what kind of brought you to working with like physical health and mental health and stuff?
Well, I always been in the physical side of things. So I actually went to college and I got my health promotion and I went into the medical field and I loved it because like I always say I'm a fixer personality, but I'm more of like a science personality. Like I like to understand how things work and why they work the way they work. And so when I went into the medical field, I went into oncology because I really wanted to understand oncology, like the science. And what I found out is like everybody has a cancer bug. It's just certain events will trigger it to become active. But over the course of going through oncology and medical school, it was just like I knew I wanted to always eventually launch my own gym and really help people understand how to fuel their body through everyday nutrition. And so in 2020, it was actually my pivoting moment. And I always tell everybody, I think God has a plan for all of us and he's going to put us in the right direction. Even though
I
we
think
don't see.
2020 was all of us. He's
Yeah,
pivoted all of us.
yeah, well, big time. And like we actually, and I share this in it's called a hero video, but the day before so we just built our forever home. That was like half a mile away from the farm. We were going to retire in this sucker. Like we lived in it for 4 years and our house caught on fire and we lost everything. So March 19th, 2020, our house burnt down to the ground. Like we lost everything. And then the next day was the national lockdown. So 2020 was a whole different beast for
I
us.
was bringing my baby home from the NICU that day.
Really?
They
Yeah,
basically were like, he's good enough, go.
get out of here while you can. It was just like there was so many unknowns. And like for us as a family, I had to pivot to going homeschooling, which we talked about,
Yeah.
it was a learning curve in itself. And then I had to pivot, I sold insurance at that time, door to door, which I absolutely loved. I serviced rural America with supplemental coverage and I couldn't even do that. And so my world was like rocked upside down. It's just like my mental health tanked. We didn't have a home. There were so many unknown battles we were going through.
Mm.
We're told to social distance, which I'm very so much an extrovert. So like I thrive on human connection. And it was just like I was struggling. And it really opened my eyes to like how there wasn't really mental health services available in rural America. Because like if you had an issue or if you were struggling, the only thing really available was a 1-800 number. And it's like, okay, you could talk to a stranger, but what happens after that? Like usually you want to
There's a
work.
1 year waiting list in our community to get in with a mental health provider.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it was just like, and then health too. Like, I think in 2020, and actually I don't think I know this, is instead of like pushing people to take care of their health, like, hey, start to work out, start to dive into nutrition because nutrition can change a lot of things. Like people
Hmm.
don't realize your gut and your brain, there's this invisible between the two. And when you're not feeling yourself correctly, it's going to impact your brain as well. And so, like 2020, it was more, I felt like a scare tactic where they weren't talking about nutrition, they weren't talking about exercising and relieving stress. They going about the holistic side of things that do work, which now they're talking about because there's this whole movement of, I think it's called Maha, that's going
Yeah.
on, but still, it's just like a lot of people that disconnection, and I really opened my eyes to it. So what I did, Kody, is I did a couple free challenges that year. And at the time, I wasn't certified as a personal trainer, nutritionist, or mental health coach, or any of that. And I remember in May of 2020, this planking challenge, something super simple, just
Yeah.
planking. And I threw it up online and I was like, if 10 people participate in this, I'm going to impact 10 people. And it ended up being like 800 plus farmers across the world. Like, I mean, we had people in
Oh
Australia,
my gosh.
UK, Canada, planking
That
on
like
farms.
gave me chills.
Yeah, it was just the coolest thing because it was like it opened my eyes to like how much our community needed this. It was just like that outlet of like we're all going through these massive curves and insecurities, and it's just like you bring a group of people together to work on their physical health. And so later that year I did a couple more challenges and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a business out of this. Like I'm going to show that, hey, 15 to 25-minute workouts, like I got the methodology. Like I can humble your ass in that time, but I promise you, you'll walk away and you'll be a more active parent. You'll be more engaged in your farming operation. How many times do we hear people go, back in the day, or relive the high school glory days? When I was in my peak performance, and a lot of people don't realize, like, your peak performance goes all the way to 70,
Yes.
70, and it doesn't go down. Like, so
Hmm.
instead of saying your peak performance being in your teens, like I'm almost 40 and I'm in better shape than I was when I was younger. So it's just like I wanted to give people the tools and strategies to show them, like, hey, you don't have to spend 45 minutes to an hour in a gym. The closest gym for me is an hour away, one way. So
Yeah.
it's 2 hours, and then by the time you get there, you're there for an hour. So it's like 3 hours a day. Like I don't have that. And
Hmm.
so,
My closest gym I'd have to go to Canada for.
yeah, yeah. And it's just like that's the biggest struggle, is a lot of people are like, I don't have the equipment, and you don't. Like my programming, I really specialized in those 15 to 25-minute workouts. You can do it all calisthenic, which is body weight movement. And it's more functional training is what I call it. It's a
Hmm.
called hybrid training, where it's setting you up for longevity. If you want a six-pack abs, great. If you don't want a six-pack abs and you want to be able to do your everyday tasks with ease, this is it. And the nutrition. I mean, I'm sure you and I are going to go deep into nutrition, because nutrition it's just like diet culture is so thick. You see it one side or the other, like they're pushing intermittent fasting, and now it's all of a sudden carnivore diet. So it's just like it's so thick out there, and it's like, okay, let's myth bust that and let's educate people on like how to fuel their body
Yeah.
correctly, and set them up for success.
Well, that was the biggest piece. And, I kind of prefaced it a little bit at the beginning because I've had people listening for a couple of years, so I don't like go into it real deep. But my husband was diagnosed with end-stage liver disease 8 years ago.
Oh wow.
He had like only been out of the military for a couple of years. He wasn't a drinker. His late wife was Mormon, so I mean, he didn't drink for 12 years. And all of a sudden, I mean, he just had some heartburn. So we're like, and he couldn't get it under control with like ranitidine or something. So we're like, oh, let's just go to the doctor. Next thing I know, we're getting a terminal diagnosis, and they told him that he maybe had a year.
Oh geez. Yeah.
And yeah, I was 34, so he would have been like 36. And I mean, we were just like, what do we do,
Yeah. And they probably
And
and they probably push like drugs on you, or something.
actually, because end-stage liver disease, there's like nothing you can do for it. And liver disease in general, the only thing you can do for it is healthy eating, like, stop the onslaught on your liver. But once your liver is um, scarred, they're like, there's nothing you can do. And they're like, well, if you have a slightly healthier lifestyle, you might improve his quality of life. And I was like, great, that gives me something to work with, and you're an idiot. So,
Like,
um,
what does that look like? And that's the
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
A
And I
lot of
mean,
they don't educate. They don't.
yeah. And then, I mean, we grew a lot of our food at the time. I mean, just gardening and stuff. We always raised pigs and chickens, and we were big hunters. Like, we were always out in the woods. We have the big mountains out here. So, I mean, when we're out hunting,
Hiking.
yeah, we're getting a good workout. Like, and my dad used to actually run dogs on wild pigs. I mean, we literally ran through the mountains. That's how I spent like my whole childhood. And so we're like, okay, well, how much healthier can we get? We already cook at home. We already grow our own food. Like, what do we do? And so we started to look into diets and that type of stuff. And we're like, that's not for us. That's not what we're trying to do, especially when we don't want like fake sugars and things like that in our system. And so we literally just everything that we needed to buy, we started looking for ways to not get it at the grocery store.
And that's
And
the best.
that's
Seriously.
pretty much been the entire premise of our diet. And 6 years into that, he was told he had a fully healed liver.
Yeah. You don't know, people don't realize how much junk they put in food. They
Hmm.
really don't. Like, I know the current government is trying to tackle that right now, but it's
Yeah.
like you really don't know. So I one of the things we do in Farm Fit training is I really educate how to read nutrition labels, because even the marketing, like food industry spends billions, let me put this, billions of dollars on food marketing. They will market stuff that are GMO free that don't even have freaking GMOs in it. Like there's 11 types
Right.
of foods that are GMO. They'll market stuff that's
And
naturally free.
they donate to nonprofits that are ran by like the FDA and stuff like that.
100%. And like people
Yeah.
don't realize the control they have on the food industry. And it's like when you start to dive into the science of it, it's like, okay, back to that invisible highway. When you get your gut health in check, it
Hmm.
really changes your life and your body thrives on that. Like, kind of think of not going back to the caveman phase, but like, going back to the land and getting your food that way. Like, I partnered up with like a lot of, for example, they call it farm to fork families. Like,
Hmm.
so like three farm daughters, I'll throw them out there. They're at a farm north of me about 2.5 hours. They not only grow the wheat, but they also process it and make it into pasta noodles. And it's like, you're taking that middleman out, and so you're getting these quality of food cheaper. Farmer markets are huge in our area as well, but it's just like a lot of people don't understand, like, when you start to feel yourself correctly, your whole life changes, your skin changes, your hair changes, so you have more pep in your step, your body can run. And like the analogy I like to use here is like, right now carnivore diet is huge, which is horrible. Please don't do it. Anybody that's listening to this, do not do it. But like, carnivore diet's super low on carbs. For
Hmm.
example, we need carbs. Carbs are energy. It's your energy source. And then
Like
now,
it's like that whole Dr. Atkins thing. Like it just
yeah,
keeps, yeah.
yeah, like you need carbs. You need carbs to
Hmm.
survive. So with that being said, like I always explain it this way, is it's like you have your tractor, and instead of putting diesel in your tractor, you put gas. And it's gonna, over time, it's gonna start to run sluggish. You're gonna start to slow down. The same with like sugar substitutes. Exact same
Hmm.
analogy. It's gonna start to learn slow, sluggish because it doesn't know how to break it down. It doesn't know how to process it. But if you put diesel in it, it's going to run, it's going to get its task done, it's going to run Ultima. You're not going to have issues. You're not going to have a check engine light. And it's just like our bodies as well, is when we feel our bodies like with natural sugar, cane sugar,
Hmm.
when you feel yourself with complex carbohydrates, we're talking whole grains, um, you know, potatoes. Yes, you can have potatoes, starchy potatoes. Like when you're eating those like man-made, natural, not over processed carbohydrates, your body knows how to run. And it's this amazing mechanism that a lot of people don't tap into. Like in a fitness journey, you shouldn't just work on your physical health, you should also work on your mental health. And when you're working on your physical health, nutrition plays into that, because when you work on both nutrition and physical health, it impacts your mental health as well. And it just all works together. And so one of the things I actually educate about is, have you ever heard of macronutrients?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just basically, it's a nutrition theory. It's not a diet. So you're
Yeah.
just focusing on the nutrients in foods in large amounts, which are protein, carbs, and fats. And everybody is unique. Your body is unique, and how we ingest different, like what our protein number is, what our carbohydrates or what our fats are. It's all unique. And so it's just really cool to see clients start to dive in that process and understand, like, hey, I'm feeling myself and I've noticed my mood's better. I'm not as sharp with my kids, I'm lifting heavier. I have more pep in my step. I have more energy. And so it's really cool to like wrap that up into a simplified form where it's like, okay, here's the tools and strategies. Like this is really simple to incorporate, and it doesn't have to be complex like it is that you see on social media.
Absolutely. It is so much more simple, but a lot of people don't understand like even how to deal with the cooking of it or where to source it or the
Yeah.
price. And sometimes
Buy from farmers.
that's what
You
I spend a lot of time doing is teaching like how to cook it, how to source it, like how to, not break the bank buying organic or something like that. Which I don't buy into that completely either.
I don't buy organic if anybody wants to know. Like, I mean, again, it's just a lot of people think organic farming is they don't use pesticides, and they do. It's like,
Yeah, it's
it's not
not the
that,
case. They just
yeah,
use organic approved pesticides.
yeah.
And
It's like nobody really understands it. They hear that little nugget and it sticks with them and they're like, oh, I have to buy all organic. And it's like, no.
it's really just a paperwork trail.
Yeah.
When with my husband's liver, we do look at chemicals that are going on to things. So we try to source as much of our foods we can, either like from ourselves or locally, or because then I know what's going into it. Like our neighbors, they have wheat and process it, and we can buy flour directly from our neighbors and stuff. And I know what they're putting on it. So it's a different, and we live in a very, we have wheat and stuff, but there's not so much ag happening here that there's just chemicals and everything flying around. Like we're in a pretty pristine place. And so like I can really like limit that, but yeah, I go with good, better, best, and good is fed, better is quality food, and best is growing like it yourself and cooking it at home. And
Yeah.
sometimes we just make sure we're fed.
Yeah, well, and I tell everybody there's so many amazing farmers right now and ranchers that are selling their product online. Like
Hmm.
say you had to go to the grocery store to get stuff and like, I already mentioned three farm daughters, but there's also like I buy my flour from a gal not too far in Minnesota from me. And it's like you can buy directly from the farmers and ranchers now.
Hmm.
You don't have to go to the grocery store. Same with beef. Like we get our beef here locally from a rancher that's like 10 minutes away from us. He takes the cow in, we butcher it and get it cut and processed how we want it. And we buy and fill our freezer full. And so it's just like, I can't tell people enough. Like there is ways to get access to good quality food. And you don't technically have to go to the grocery store to get it.
Absolutely. I went to a local ag expo in February with my Homestead homeschool curriculum, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're just gonna eat me alive here, but I needed to like put my toe in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm an Aggie, I've been an Aggie at heart. My dad was a California cowboy, like I can do this. Um, and they loved me. And the conversation I had, like, I mean, there was a lot of ag teachers that were like, we want to teach this way, not the way we have been. But that was really exciting and has took me down a whole different path. But almost every single farmer that stopped by my booth was like, we need to figure out how to do the direct to consumer model. And we don't know how to do that. And there's not a lot out there teaching us. Like, we came here hoping to find something that would help us with that today. And I was like, wow, like I didn't realize, I thought a lot of the commercial farmers wanted nothing to do with the whole direct to consumer market. And it's really exciting to see that, because if we had more farmers doing the direct to consumer, less people would even have to ship because you would be able to source it locally. But if we're not buying from these farmers, they can't make an income and they have to just sell to cities where they're shipping it and stuff. So,
I had a gal actually reach out to me. So I partnered with a couple of meat companies like
mhm,
Albertsons and West 40 Meat. Same thing from our producer to customer. Like they took the middleman out. And one I was talking to somebody online. I think I did it on my stories or something. And I can't tell you how many DMs I got of people asking where they could source like their meat or, fresh
mhm,
veggies. And like just a quick search, like with AI out there, like you can find it. It's super.
mhm.
And there was like stores popping up. Like the other day, I just ordered avocados directly from a farmer in California that are coming shipping to me
That's
with.
good to know, because you could not get a good avocado in North Idaho.
Oh my gosh, you can get it from a California farmer, and I'll give you the information. But it was just like,
I am
and
all over
again,
it.
avocados are a healthy fat, so they're really good for
Mhm,
you. But yeah, it was one of those things. And like I don't have chickens on our farm, but I buy my chickens from my neighbor she gives me 3 dozen fresh eggs, every 2 weeks. And it's just like there is ways. It takes a little work and that's my tip to everybody. If they truly want to reach out to sources and and get connections, like ask a farmer because usually
mhm.
most farmers have connections and they can connect you with people to get your meat from, or if you want to start buying your eggs locally or whatever it is. Like we all network in agriculture.
Yeah.
I say it's a big industry, but it's also small because it's like
Mhm.
everybody's really working towards myth busting, and really helping the consumers understand how us producers make the food. But at the same time, it's like that's one of the pushes for me launching my business is that like everybody's working on the producer and consumer side, but nobody's working on the in between, which is us, that
Mhm.
mental and physical health. But so that's where I kind of took flight with what I offer is, and I don't just work with agriculture. I should make that clear is like I work with rural America. So if you
Yeah.
live in not just rural America, rural Canada, like in rural countryside, that's like my main target audience is really to explain like how fueling yourself in that little physical work can really impact your business, your relationships, who you are as a parent, if you have kids. And it starts at home. And I think that's kind of where you and I align because we just went off on about homeschooling.
Right. So yeah, and that's a lot of my listeners. They're homeschool moms, they live in rural America, and a lot of them are new farmers because they're moving from urban and suburban communities to rural communities. And then yeah, suddenly they no longer have a gym. They're isolated from friends and family and even their new friends and family. I mean, I live 27 miles from town. So it's not like I can just pop in and have coffee with a girlfriend or do our morning walk together or something. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of like when I came across you, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be such a great conversation to have with so many of the people that I'm working with on how to bring exercise and the importance of that and the mental health. Because, like, I bring a lot of the natural food part of it, but that bringing it all together with how important the exercise is and how to get that in when you live rurally or when you're working your farm 18 hours a day. And so I was really excited to have that conversation.
No, and I'm excited. Yeah, thank you for asking me first and foremost. I'm honored to be here. Super excited. I mean, that's the thing too, is a lot of people, it's kind of like that, another analogy here for you. You can pour from a half empty cup, but you can't pour from a half full. And
Hmm.
if you think of, or wait, I said that right, right? Yeah, you can pour from a half full. There we go. I said it backwards. Pour from a half full, but not half empty. And so, we're our longest commitment. A lot of people forget that. Like it starts at like it's not being selfish. Like if you check in with yourself for 15 to 25 minutes and do a quick workout, bring your kids along. Like I can't tell you how many times my kids have joined me in workouts when they were little. Or we go for walks. Like we just make it a part of our daily lifestyle because
Hmm.
I know when I don't get that time from like to check in with myself, I notice I'm more snappy as a mom. I don't have patience. I'm more like frazzled all day. It seems like I just am not organized. And when I take that time for myself, to check in, and also create those healthy meals and get my boys to, help create it and talk about nutrition, it becomes part of our life. And it's really cool to educate them alongside that. Cause like my oldest actually just did a nutrition class in 6th grade. And he came home and he was like, Mom, they're teaching this wrong. Like they're not covering this right. She tried to tell me that I shouldn't be drinking at least 2 liters of water. And I'm like, no, you should. Your body's 65 to 70% of your body's water.
Uh-huh.
And so we were talking about that. And it was just like being able to myth bust with him and educate him and give him the science with that. And that's really what I do with my clients as well, is it's like we don't just tell you what to do. We educate you along the process so you fully understand. And that's where we really stick out when it comes to like physical health in nutrition is it's more about the education behind it. Because like if you understand something fully, you're more likely to stick to it and understand the importance of it. And so one of the things I love doing with clients when they come into Farm Fit training is we do a why statement. And it's like the most powerful tool you can do. And anybody can do this. You can do this today too, as Kody, is a why statement is your like deepest, darkest emotions you have about yourself. And this is like, maybe it's like right now you're uncomfortable in your own skin. Maybe you want to be that active mom or the active dad, or maybe you want to make the jump to homeschooling, which I'm going to be making here soon. So me and Kody are going to be talking a lot.
Congratulations.
We're going to be talking a lot. But like it's just like um your why statement is where you're at right now. And the reason why I love doing this is it's a mental health trick that I do with all my clients is because it gets us to face our insecurities. A lot of times we don't like to face our insecurities because we're uncomfortable. And you have to be willing to be uncomfortable to grow. And if you don't face your insecurities and hit them head on, you can't grow as an individual. You can't step outside that comfort zone and do things that you've never done before. Like you said, you went to an ag expo and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go. And then it ended up being a wonderful experience. But what if
Mhm.
you didn't have that confidence? And
So
so
much so I got invited to DC to talk about what I was doing.
oh my God, I love that.
Right?
See, and like those opportunities wouldn't have presented themselves if you did step outside. And so like, when we're talking about a physical transformation, a nutrition, mental health, it's all encompassing. Like you need to look at those all as the same package. Like when you
Hmm.
start to dive into physical health, you're going to automatically impact your mental health and you're going to start to eat better. When you start to dive into a nutrition, the next thing you know, you're going to want to start lifting weights, and dabbling into that one. But along the course, you're going to start impacting your mental health and they all work together. And so, the why statement that I encourage everybody to do this is to sit down, block off 15 minutes of time, and just keep asking yourself why. So, like, for example, like one of my driving forces, I always saw my mom on diet pills and I hated it. She was always on that yo-yo hamster wheel of diet culture. And
Hmm.
I just like wanted to get, like, I don't want my boys to see that. Or I heard her talk negative about herself. Like, she always nitpicked herself negatively. And I'm like, I don't want that for my boys. I want to show them like being strong as
I
sexy.
keep digging over here because I lost my pen and I want to write down all these amazing things you're talking about.
That's okay. That's
So
okay.
if you see me rummaging, it's because I think you're great.
I'm following you on social, so you're not getting rid of me.
All right.
It's just like, diving into that. And so like going back to my why statement is that was my start of my why statement is like I didn't want to be I wanted to change the course with my family. I wanted to show my boys like lifting and taking care of yourself and how you talk to yourself really impacts your mental health. And then also I wanted to be that hands-on mom. Like I go to like my son's cross country meet or I go to his basketball games and I can't tell you how many parents don't engage with their kids or are not out there, running or, shooting the ball. Or the other day, my son played flag football and I was out there playing flag football with a bunch of 12-year-olds and I loved it. But I was the only parent. All these other parents were sitting on the sideline and it's like, no, like kids are only young for so long. I only get my boys for 18 years. And so it's like I want to be that hands-on mom that's right there in the thick of things and not missing out on those
Well, and you
moments.
just added 1,500 hours a year with them.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What?
1,500 hours a year you just added with your kids if you're homeschooling them.
I am gonna homeschool them, so
Yeah.
we're gonna be fine. But it's everybody's gonna be like, I need to follow her, see her journey into homeschooling.
Right?
It ain't gonna be pretty, but it's gonna happen. But it's just one of those things where it's like I really want to be that hands-on parent. And so like that's really what was my driving force when I started my fitness journey is like I was that overweight mom. I actually had two emergency C well, my first one was emergency C-section. The second one was a scheduled C-section, and it ended up being a horrible experience in itself. And so like I put on 60 pounds. I'm 5'1". That's a lot of
Oh,
weight.
wow. See, I had my last baby. After every baby, I lost all my weight again and was like, I'm a big girl, but like I went back down to where I was really healthy and comfortable. And my last baby, afterwards, my body attacked itself. And it's
Yeah.
been 5 years of steroids and I gained 80 pounds. But I'm
Yeah.
also 6 foot. So 80 pounds, I only went up like one pant size, but I still
Yeah,
had
no,
to.
I went up like 5, 6 pants size. So yeah, I was super uncomfortable. And I call myself fun size. I'm 5'1" and 125, 30 pounds comfortably. But
Yeah.
it was a lot for my frame.
Yeah.
And like I would get winded just walking across the farmyard. And it just drove me nuts. It was like, no, I don't want to be that mom. I want to
Hmm.
be that active hands-on. And now it's cool because like my husband, so we don't have any hired help. We farm by ourselves. But my husband will send me a text and be like, I need your muscles. And it's like the biggest compliment. I love it when
That's
he
so
does it.
sweet.
I know I'm like on my way.
I get the, hey, honey, I need your brains.
Yeah, it's cool to be like in that position where you feel wanted. You know what I
I
mean?
actually joked at one point, like, you can make fun of my weight, but you can't make fun of my brains.
I
Not that
could help.
he does, but like other people, yeah.
If you ever are looking for a fitness program, Kody,
Right?
see, I can help you with fitness and you dive into your journey with me, and then you can help me with homeschooling. This is a
All
win.
right, maybe it's a deal.
So no, it's really cool. And the biggest thing I want to tell everybody is start small. Don't overcomplicate it.
Mhm.
Sometimes we try to bite the whole elephant in one gulp. You got to build your foundation correctly, and it takes time. And time and consistency is the biggest thing here. And I'm sure you can agree with me. Is like when you're diving into a healthy lifestyle with nutrition, for example, as well. Don't think you have to go out there and buy everything locally. Maybe buy your meat first, and then start doing
Mhm.
feeds.
Meat's a really big step.
Uh, Even milk, like milk again, milk at the grocery store is great. I buy our milk at the grocery store. Some people drink raw milk, which is even great. You
Mhm.
know, um,
When our cows are dry, I absolutely buy just regular
yeah,
pasteurized milk at the store because we still need milk. And
yeah,
personally, because most of the year I am on raw milk, I'm not paying $20 a gallon for milk that isn't ours.
yeah. See, and
So,
I buy milk at the store, but drink whole milk is what I'm going to tell
mhm,
everybody. Do not buy 2%, 1%, or fat free. Drink whole milk. Your body knows how to break it down. Don't be scared of it. I promise you, first and foremost, it's more flavorful. It's really good for you. Uh, they add vitamin D in it because most people are vitamin D deficient, but it helps your body
mhm,
break it down in simple terms. But whole milk is where it's at, or raw is what I
mhm.
would recommend everybody to buy. And I can tell you how many clients come in and they're drinking almond milk and stuff. And I'm like, let's
Ugh.
change that. Let's change that. Let's adjust that for a second. Let me educate you.
I
But
mean, it's just it's water that tastes bitter. Like,
it's no whole milk or raw is where it's at. Like, trust me,
hmm
your body knows how to break it. Going back to what we talked about earlier, is your body knows how to break natural foods better than it does processed or chemical foods. And I'm not saying 2%, 1% are fat free or processed, but they do take the healthy fats out and replace it with the sugar. That's where you get this sweet flavor back in.
hmm
So you're taking the healthy nutrition, your vitamins and minerals and everything are found in your fats and milk. So
We actually switched to cooking primarily with our home rendered lard from our like heritage pork,
yeah.
and we dropped our cholesterol over 200 points apiece.
Yeah, everybody's like the craze right now is beef talon, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I've been using that sucker for years. I mean,
Right?
who knew I was ahead of the curve?
Well, we were always like, my husband and I, even in our younger years when we were really in good shape, we're bigger people. We just are. So we were always like watching that diet. So it was like, oh, you have to do the fats that are liquid at room temperature and, all that stuff. So the thought, like my dad was the healthiest person I knew, but he grew up in Tennessee and cooked everything in lard. And I thought he was just healthy because of how many hours he spent running through the mountains. And I look back on it now and I'm like, no, he had it right, but no, everyone else didn't. And so we started rendering our own lard. Even my daughter gets in there, like on processing day, that's her job. She
Getting
renders
all,
and strains all of our lard and packages it up and puts it in the root cellar. And
yeah. I like to cook with beef tallow or avocado oil or
yeah.
olive oil. Those are my go-to grabs. But it's crazy how things are kind of coming back. Like back, there was a phase when I was younger. I remember reading that eggs were bad for you,
hmm
and now it's like people can't get enough eggs. So it's like again on social media, and this is one of the things is like shift through the information. Don't take it for face value. Like if somebody can't explain something with scientific evidence and really break it down to you, then they're probably not the coach or person that you want. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I kind of just go with, are you looking for new ways to advertise your business? I would like to invite you to advertise your business on the Homestead Education Podcast. Did you know that 60% of listeners will make a purchase after hearing an ad on a podcast? Why is this? Because personal connections and credibility from someone they truly trust will give you the best conversions. My podcast has been on the air for over 3 years now, and with an average of 5,000 downloads per episode and tons of long term listeners, you're bound to have somebody who will find that credibility in me. All ad spots will be promoted on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and my weekly newsletter. I have podcast sponsorship spots available that are affordable for all business sizes. And all advertising revenue will be used towards my educational outreach in the form of travel costs, curriculum development, supplies, and the administration of such activities. Go to my show notes now or visit thehomesteadeducation.com/podcast dash sponsorship. I hope to hear from you soon. With the food stuff, it kind of just clicked for me one day, like all of humanity has survived on these foods for thousands of years, and suddenly in the last 50, 60 years, we're going to say it's better to have it processed and broken down and taken apart and all those things. Like it just doesn't make sense. So I kind of go with when you're making a choice, try not to be more than 5 steps away from God, like the way he made it.
I love that.
And it helps because then I'm like, how far has this been processed? And 5 steps goes really fast.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just getting burger, like if I slaughter a cow right on my property and turn it into burger, it's hit 5 steps. So that's what
Yeah.
we try to stay under. But um one thing that we really saw when we started our health journey is I knew we needed exercise in our diet or in our lives more than what we already did and more intentional about it, not just our hunting trips or something, because my husband needed it for his liver. And he was super depressed because, I mean, he just got a terminal diagnosis. And that was something that really like turned the tables for us is I said like I know you don't want to go to the gym and stuff. Let's just take the kids out like hiking every day after dinner. And we started doing that and like extending what we were doing and I literally saw his mental health and like even his PTSD from he was blown up 3 times in Iraq. So even like his PTSD like turned just by like between the gut health and the exercise. It was like such a huge difference. And we were really intentional about our time, but I know a lot of families are really crazy and like on the farm. Like, how do you suggest they kind of like work that into their day?
Well, if you, first and foremost, if something's important enough to you, you'll find a way. And that's really true because like we do something similar. So like on our farm, after dinner, so we always have dinner together. Lunch and breakfast are kind of up in the air. My husband's all over the place, but like something my husband and I agreed upon is every night at 6 o'clock, we're coming together as a family and we're sitting down. Even if he's in the field, I hike everything out to the field and we sit down. And now
We've
that
had
summer,
lots of field meals.
yeah, I mean, same here. And so like if it's important enough to you, you'll figure it out. Like you guys incorporated hiking, being outside is a big mental health booster in itself, and bringing loved ones with you is another one. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It can be something as simple as like, hey, if your husband comes in for lunch, maybe going and doing a 10-minute walk, being intentional. Or if your kids, instead of letting them, like right now I'm on an anti-electronic thing going on in my house because I hate YouTube. And so like one of the things I do with my boys is like if I see them sitting down, I'll get up and I'll be like, let's go for a walk. Let's go take the dog to the river. Just like being intuitive and paying attention to surrounding. But to work it in a busy schedule is plan it. Like how many
Be
times.
intentional, yeah.
Yeah, like I tell clients too when they start a fitness journey with me is like not only set your clothes out, but plan when you're going to do it in your calendar and schedule it. Like
Hmm.
schedule it a date with yourself. Because you're more likely to show up when everything you take those barriers out of the way to get to where you want to go. And so it's just like, if you want to start with nutrition, plan a meal that's high protein that you can cook for your whole family, or your workouts, like if you're going to start working out at 5 a.m., set your alarm, set your clothes out, put your phone across the room so you have to get up to shut it off. You're already out of bed, you're already halfway there. The hardest part, so get your butt downstairs, just like being intentional and taking those like obstacles out of the way will help you be able to do it. And so like if they want to start walking, instead of riding your ranger across our farm, because our farmyard is 40 acres. I mean, it's spread out.
Yeah.
And so, like for us, like I'll purposely park the Ranger back and block it into something so I have to walk, you know, and just be as
Well, our son blew up our quad motor, so we have to walk.
yeah. We have a three-wheeler. We have an old school
Oh
three-wheeler, but
my goodness. I didn't even think those were like
oh,
around
we got
anymore.
one of those. I mean, it's a dinosaur, but that sucker's never gonna die.
Yeah, we're on 40 acres total, like not just our barnyard, but our barn is uphill from the house. So that's our like if you are going to the barn, you gotta walk. Like we don't take the truck, unless we have to haul something with the truck. So
Yeah, just being intentional,
mhm.
and treating and celebrating it. You get to move. Like, do you know how many people wish might be going through something terminally ill and can't do stuff? Like, celebrate the fact that you get to move, you get to do this. Like, change that mindset of how you speak about it instead of being like, oh, I gotta walk across the farmyard again. Be like, I get to walk across the farmyard. I can walk across the farmyard. Like, that's a celebration in itself. Like, I get to walk.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely is. So something with farmers that we see a lot of just in general is that, there's a ton of depression, suicide rates, farm injuries from not staying in shape, wives who are having to work off farm to provide health insurance. So I know that like making sure that you're staying healthy to be in shape to do the work that you have to do as a farmer is really important as well. Um, Do you kind of have anything on that with like, keeping like your back muscles healthy and those types of things?
yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, agriculture as a whole, we're 3.5 times higher to commit suicide than any
Hmm.
other industry in the world. Let's pause for a second though. That's massive. Like, that's a big deal. And I think it has to boil down to like, we're the world's biggest gamblers. We gamble
Hmm.
when it comes to weather prices, markets. You and I talked about this. And so to keep yourself healthy, like think about you everyday movement. Like you're
Yeah.
squatting, you're lifting, you're bending over all the time. So, why not add 25 squats in there? Or
Hmm.
why not add a quick, like if you're sitting down, don't sit at my rule of thumb is don't sit down more than 45 minutes at a time. So like when my timer goes off for 45 minutes, I like get
I'm
my
laughing. I'm a writer, so like
oh my God, I couldn't. Like, I mean, I always get up and try to move. Like, I'm a mover. Like,
my husband said he's gonna buy me a standing desk because I get so antsy, but like I need something like so I can like stand and type.
one of my friends just did that. She got a standing desk and those little walking treadmills in
Yeah.
her office now, and she loves it.
I've
I would,
tried typing while on my like stationary bike, but I just my brain and like hands can't work at the same time. So I figured at least if I'm standing.
which is standing even burns calories. Do you
Hmm.
know if you stand at least 12 hours a day, you burn additional 250 calories a day just by standing? So yeah, it's just don't overcomplicate it. I
And it
mean,
helps your posture and everything. Like I really noticed my posture has been bad since I've been working, like writing so much because I don't always write in my office desk. I write in my recliner a lot because then I'm in the living room, like homeschooling the kids and, like doing life with my family.
yeah. Um, Calisthenic workouts are great. I actually have a free or not a free a program. It's called Farm Fit Methods Training. It's
Okay.
only $19, 19.99.
Oh, wow.
It's 14-day calisthenic. So it's all body weight movements and the workouts are anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Anybody can buy it, anybody can go through it. It's super like you can even print out my workouts if you want after the 14 days and continue them. Like it's super simple. You don't need any equipment. All you need is yourself. You don't even need a pair of tennis shoes, work out barefoot because I do most of my workouts barefoot. Like, just
I do as many things as I possibly can barefoot, but.
but the ground body connection
Yeah, I
center.
have a no shoes in the garden rule. There's actually a sign going into my garden gate that says like no shoes in the garden.
All that. Yeah, you
Yeah.
shouldn't. Like my kids run around across rocks barefoot, and everybody's like, "How did they do that?" I'm like, I used to be barefoot when I was little, like
Farm
running
kids, yeah.
all over the
But
place.
this one sounds like a really good one. I have a 16-year-old daughter who hates working out. She does like going hiking and stuff, but she hates any type of extra workout. And like homeschool prom is coming up and she wants to get a really fitted dress. And I'm like, honey, you need to like tone it up a little. Like, and I mean,
Tell her
she's tiny. Like, I'm not even saying she's overweight at all. Like, she is probably 5'8" at this point and only weighs like 130 pounds. But
yes.
she's definitely like, she's getting the like, she needs to tone up a little. We're going
So
into summer. She needs like a hot girl summer look, you know?
needs to lift weights is what she needs to do because the quickest way to tone up, I can't tell you, I have so many women that come into my program and they're like, I want to tone. And I'm like, the only way you can tone really quick is to pick up weights. Like
Yeah.
a lot of women, that's one of the biggest myths out there on social media is if you lift heavy, you're going to get big and bulky. First and foremost, our chemical makeup as females are way different from a male. And there's absolutely no way we're going to be, but like it takes years to pack on muscle for a female because we don't have testosterone, for example. Like our whole chemical makeup is a lot different. And so when I talk to females and they're like, I want to tone, definitely start with a calisthenic workout just to get the form and movements down. But once you do, add weight and you will tone up so fast and you'll start to see muscle definition way quicker than you can going through like a detox diet or like whatever is out there. Like you'll just see more progress faster, especially when you couple it with a like what you and I have been talking about, like fueling your body for success.
Hmm. Yeah, and she's big on that. She actually does a lot of our cooking at this point, and that's her favorite part of her chores is making sure that we have a well-rounded diet and our freezers are all stocked. Like it's kind of become her mission. But yeah, she doesn't like the workout. So this could be a really fun one for her and I to do together because I like to be
You
like, I'm
should.
old, not a,
Only
I'm
19 bucks.
right. I'm like, I'm old, not a shape. And I'm like whooping your butt in the mountains. So come on, girl, let's get it together.
19 bucks. I mean, it's 14-day calisthenics. No weights, no nothing. Just
That's
I
perfect
promise
because prom's at the end of the month. So
promise you guys might be cussing me out, but hey, that means it's working and it's only 10 to 15 minutes. You can do it.
that's perfect. I think I'm all about it. So I one last question. How would you suggest that homeschoolers work in some like PE for their kids other than like for our kids, we're on the farm. I'm like, you have a farm gym. Go outside. I don't want to see you. That's your PE. But how would you suggest they kind of work that in or even some nutrition education and things like that?
Well, nutrition education, first and foremost, don't follow the food pyramid. That is
Yeah.
absolute garbage. But nutrition, keep it simple. Like educate them the importance of like hydration, educate the importance of protein, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats. And if they need pointers, check out my page. I do a ton
Okay.
of education on it for free. Also, my website, I have a couple free ebooks they can download to educate too. Nutrition, the biggest thing is really talk about like feeling your body, not taking things away. Because like as a society, like we're emotionally attached to food. We really are as a
Yes.
society. And so when you don't educate nutrition properly, that's where a lot of kids think sugars are bad. There's some crack jobs on social media that talk about sugars being bad. Again, it's all about moderation. So just,
Hmm.
when you're educating, make sure that it's backed up by science. I do a ton of myth busting on my pages as well. They can check
Yeah.
out or they can message me and I'll even give them tons of ammo to be able to educate on the nutrition side of things. And then with PE, have fun. Do something fun, like do a mini obstacle course outside in your backyard
Oh,
with your kid.
fun.
Like set up an agility course where you have to hop or bounce or climb, or even like do like a little time circuit through the jungle gym at a local park. Just have fun with it. The biggest thing when you're doing PE is just make it fun, don't overcomplicate it. Don't think you have to like incorporate weight training right off the gate with, especially with little guys, which is beneficial, by the way. I mean,
You
there's
know,
tons of,
my
but
little guys, they got all of our workout equipment out and set it up in their playroom and then they time each other and play boot camp. So, you
I mean,
know,
like watch
I'm like,
Ninja.
whatever, they handled it.
Yeah, my boys will watch Ninja Warrior, and next thing you know, they want to like rope swing across the barn, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like again, you can make it fun. So if you don't have a lot of space, just like get like those little cones, or not even cones, like just like put little obstacle course outside and just
Hmm.
make it where they have to do burpees at one station and then they have to do jumping jacks, or something simple that they can do for 15, 20 minutes and you do it with them, they will love that 10 times than having like a structured workout where you're like, where they're watching somebody else work out or something like that.
Last night after dinner, we have like these flashcards that are move cards, like, and it's like, hop like a frog or something like that.
Yeah,
And it was all of us, like teenagers, little boys, me and my husband, and we turned on some music and we were all doing the like hop like a frog and that type of thing through the living room. And it was a blast and it wore the boys out and it wore me out and it was a good
yeah.
time.
And you guys giggled probably and had a ton of
Uh-huh.
fun. And that's the thing with movement is make it fun. Celebrate your body being able to move. Like it doesn't have to, you don't have to be so feel like you have to do this massive workout for 45 minutes to an hour. Like something simple as like hopping like a frog, or like bouncing or doing hopscotch or jump rope. I used to do that all the time when I was little. Like do that with your kids as well. It can be super fun and simple, and you're moving your body, and it counts.
That's awesome. So I like to ask everybody at the end of our episodes, what does keep growing mean to you?
Keep growing is never settle for being average to me. And the reason I say that is because I am like that with everything I do in life. I am actually working on another certification right now, or actually five. So I'm getting my sports.
One or five, whatever.
Well, I'm getting my sports nutrition right now through NASM, which is National Academy of Sports Medicine, but I'm also working through my ICF, which is the International Coach Federation. I'm working on my psychology, neurologistics programming master and practitioner. And so, oh, there's my two boys.
Hi.
So for me, it's just like, I mean, do I need these certifications? No, but at the end of the day, I'm hunger. Like I'm always hunger to keep going. Like I don't want to settle. Like there's always something that I can learn or incorporate or do better or explain better. And so for me, it's just never settling and keep pushing that envelope and keep learning and being humbled about it as well. Like be a sponge in a world that doesn't celebrate sponges.
That's awesome. I totally feel you on that. I always say that I am tired of living up to society's mediocre standards or
I love,
living down to them.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, when my twins graduate or, launch out of the house, I plan on getting my master's in agriculture. So, because it's
exactly.
just something I've always wanted to do. And so why take that from myself just because I have a career, you know?
Yep, exactly. There's amazing things. Like, did I ever think I would fly? Did I ever think I would launch a fitness business? No.
Right.
Or a mental health or nutrition business? Absolutely not. But it's just like, I always want to be a student of the system. Like, I always want to keep learning and keep being able to bring new strategies and practices and education to my clients. And so it's just one of my things is like, continue to grow. Like I'll never settle for just average. Like I'm always going to push myself to be above and be the best person I can be.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with us today. Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you and like what programs you have and
Well, we kind of so best place to start is go to my website,
okay.
www.farmfit, and it's MOMMA. That's where I have that calisthenic program on there. There's a macro calculator on there. I mean, there's tons of free ebooks as well on there that
Okay.
people can download instantly and ask questions. I am on Instagram, Facebook, and X as Farm Fit Mama as well. So they can reach out to me on there. And I do handle all my personal, I don't have a VA. So if they message me in DMs, they're talking directly to me because that is one
That's
thing
wonderful.
I take great pride. I will never hand over it to a VA. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, they're coming to ask me and talk to me. So
I like
um,
that. I do have an assistant, but we share it and she only responds if it's like, where's my order or something rather than like, how do I homeschool, So,
yeah. And yeah, outside of that, best place to start would be my website.
all right. Well, I'll make sure I link that all in the show notes and you guys go check her out. I've been following her on Instagram for a while. She has so much great information. And obviously, as we talk today, she's really passionate about what she's doing. So thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me today at the Homestead Education, and I hope that I have given you something to think about this week. To help others find me, please comment and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. You can also follow me on Facebook at The Homestead Education and Instagram at Homestead_education. Do you have questions that you would like answered or just want to say hi? Please email me at hello@thehomesteadeducation.com. Until next time, keep growing!